Please, sir, don't hurt me. I swear I didn't do anything. That trembling voice broke the air like glass. Officer Daniel Riker spun around, chasing the echo of fear as he charged toward the skinny black teenager standing near the corner store. Without warning, he grabbed the boy's hoodie and slammed him onto the hood of the police car. The sound of metal and bone collided, hands where I can see them. Don't move, Riker barked, breath hot, eyes cold. The boy's knees shook. Please, I'm not running from anything. I'm trying to get to the hospital. My mom, she's dying. People stopped. Phones came out. A few recorded. Most just watched in horror. A man yelled, "Officer, he's a kid." But Daniel didn't care. His blood was boiling from the call he'd just heard over the radio. Black male, gray hoodie, fleeing robbery. That was enough for him. "Empty your pockets," he shouted. The boy flinched, pushing himself up, hands trembling. "Sir, please, please, listen," I said now. The boy's backpack slipped off his shoulder, hit the ground, and burst open. School notebooks, a half-eaten sandwich, loose change, and one small, brown, worn-out Bible that slid across the pavement, pages fluttering. Daniel frowned. He hated things that reminded him of his past. "What's this? You steal that too?" The boy's heart cracked in his voice. No, sir. It's my mom's. She reads it every night at the hospital. I'm trying to get there before B." His voice broke. The crowd murmured, but Daniel wasn't moved. Not yet, until he noticed the Bible had fallen open. A gust of wind flipped a few pages and stopped on a verse highlighted in soft blue. And underneath, in neat handwriting, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." Daniel froze. That handwriting. He knew it. He knew it too well. It looked exactly like hers. Grace, the one woman he ever truly loved. The woman he pushed away. The woman who disappeared from his life 17 years ago. His chest tightened. He hadn't felt that in years. Trying to steady himself, he barked, "Name. What's your name?" The boy wiped his tears. "Micah. Micah Jordan." Jordan. Daniel's heartbeat skipped once, twice. Painfully. "Jordan," he repeated under his breath. He swallowed hard, before he could speak again. The police radio crackled. "Suspect caught. Wrong kid on Maple Street. Repeat wrong kid." Gasps rose from the crowd. Someone muttered, "He attacked an innocent boy." Daniel's jaw clenched. Micah took a shaky step back, hugging his chest. "Sir, can I go now? My mom, I don't want her to die alone." Daniel hesitated. His hand loosened, but then something else fell from Micah's bag. A photo. A woman smiling in the picture. The same warm smile Daniel had once memorized. He stepped closer, slow, unsure. Where did you get that picture?" Daniel asked, voice suddenly weak. Micah grabbed it protectively. "It's my mom. Don't touch it." Daniel's breath caught. It was her. It was Grace. His Grace. "Micah," Daniel whispered. "Your mother. What's her name?" Micah looked confused. "Grace. Grace Jordan. Why?" Daniel's world tilted. His hands shook. His past slammed into him like a truck. Before Daniel could ask anything else, Mika's phone rang. He answered, and instantly collapsed to his knees. No, please. I'm coming. Don't let her die. I'm coming." His voice shattered the entire street. Daniel knelt beside him. "Micah, what happened?" Micah sobbed, breath broken. "The hospital said my mom might not make it through the hour. I have to go. Please, let me go." Daniel's eyes widened. His chest burned. His heartbeat punched his ribs. "Get in the car, now." Micah looked up confused. "What?" I said. "Get in the car. I'll take you there." "We don't have time." Micah hesitated, but the desperation in Daniel's voice was real. They ran to the police car. Daniel slammed the door shut, turned on the sirens, and the car shot forward. Not as a cop transporting a suspect, but as a man racing against fate. A man who feared he was about to lose the only woman he ever loved and the boy who might be his son. The police siren screamed through the city as Daniel sped toward the hospital. Micah held on to the seatbelt with trembling hands, his chest rising too fast, too shallow. Please, 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 he whispered over and over like a prayer. Don't take her from me. Not yet. Daniel gripped the wheel so tight, the skin around his knuckles turned white. Micah, he said carefully, how long has your mom been sick? Micah wiped tears from his cheeks. Months, maybe longer. She didn't want me to worry. She kept working, even when she could barely breathe. Daniel swallowed hard. That sounded exactly like Grace. Your father? Daniel tried to ask gently. Where is he? Micah stared out the window. I don't know. Mom never talked about him. Daniel's throat tightened. Micah continued in a small voice. She just said he wasn't ready. That he loved her. But life broke him. Daniel blinked hard to stop the sting in his eyes. Grace, you told him about me in your own way, Micah whispered. Sometimes I wished he'd show up. Just once. Even by accident. Daniel's soul cracked. He wanted to say something, anything, but no words felt big enough. When they reached the hospital, Micah bolted from the car. Daniel ran after him. They burst into the ICU hallway. Nurses rushed past. Machines beeped from behind closed doors. A doctor stepped out, holding a chart. Micah ran to him. Where's my mom? Is she okay? The doctor's eyes softened. Son, she's asking for you. Micah pushed through the door. Daniel followed slowly, every step heavier than the last. When he entered the room, the world stopped. Grace lay there pale, fragile, but still carrying the quiet warmth he remembered. Her eyes fluttered open, and when she saw Micah, her lips curved into the softest smile. My baby? She whispered. Micah fell to her side, holding her hand tightly. Mom, I'm here. I made it. Please don't go. Please. She brushed his cheek with weak fingers. God is with me, and he's with you. Then her eyes drifted past Mike's hand, landed on Daniel. Her breath caught. Her eyes widened. Danny. Daniel felt a knife twist inside his chest. He took a shaky step forward. Grace. Micah looked between them, confused. You two know each other. Grace tried to lift her hand toward Daniel, but her arm trembled. Micah, sweetheart, this is... She coughed, violently, her body arching with pain. Micah panicked. Mom. Daniel rushed to her side. Grace, stay with us, please. She looked at him with eyes filled with years of unsaid things. Tears slipped down her temple. I didn't want you to know this way, she whispered. Daniel grabbed her hand gently. Grace, is he? Her lips trembled. Danny. Micah is... She coughed again harder. Machines started beeping. Nurses burst in. Micah grabbed her hand frantically. Mom, don't leave me, please. Grace fought for air, eyes locked on Daniel. Then, with the last breath she had strength for, she whispered, He's yours, Danny. He's your son. Micah froze. Daniel froze. The room froze. And then the long, flat sound of the heart monitor filled the room. Micah screamed, falling over her chest. No, Mom. Mom, please. Mom. Daniel stood there, shaking violently, his heart ripping open in slow motion. Grace Jordan, the woman he loved, the woman he lost, the woman he never stopped searching for, was gone, and the boy wailing beside her bed was his son. Micah's fingers clutched her lifeless hand. Don't go. Don't leave me alone. I need you. I need you, Mom. Daniel knelt beside him, unable to breathe. He raised a trembling hand and placed it gently on Micah's back. Micah didn't push it away. He just cried harder. Daniel whispered through tears, You're not alone. Not anymore. I swear you're not. But outside the door, two nurses whispered anxiously, That's Officer Riker, right? The one who slammed that boy? Yeah. And now they're filming everything. Because down the hallway, a crowd had already formed, and phones were pointing straight at them. Micah sat beside his mother's covered body, shoulders shaking, breath broken, hands gripping the sheet like he could pull her back to life. Daniel stood behind him, silent, shattered, unable to look away from the boy who had just lost everything, and didn't even know he had gained something too. A nurse whispered from the doorway, "Sir, do you want us to give him a minute?" Daniel said softly. Mika's whisper filled the room. Why? Why did she leave me? Why now? Why today? Daniel knelt beside him. Micah, she didn't leave you. She fought for you. To the last breath. Micah wiped his nose with his sleeve. I don't want to do this alone. Daniel hesitated, then spoke with a trembling voice. You don't have to. Micah looked up, confused, eyes swollen, cheeks wet. What do you mean? Daniel swallowed. Your mom, she told me. You're my son. Micah stared at him like the world tilted. No, that can't be. You're lying. Daniel shook his head slowly. I didn't know, Micah. She never told me. I swear to you. Micah backed away. No, you're the man who slammed me against a car. Why would she say that? Because it's true, Daniel said, voice cracking, and I am so sorry. Mika's face twisted between grief, rage, and disbelief. If you're my father, then where were you? Why weren't you there for her, for me? Daniel felt each word like a blade. I failed her. I failed you. But I didn't know you existed. Micah shook his head fiercely. She needed you. I needed you. Why didn't you come? Daniel's voice broke open. Because I was a coward. Micah, I wasn't the man I needed to be. I was young, angry, stupid, and I ran from love. Mika punched his leg weakly. I hate you. Daniel nodded, tears falling. You have every right to. Micah hit him again, softer. I hate that she died. Daniel pulled Micah slowly into his arms. Micah didn't resist this time. He collapsed into Daniel's chest, sobbing, I'm scared. I don't have anyone left. Daniel held him tight. You have me? I'm not going anywhere. Not again. The door burst open. A woman in a blazer stormed in, followed by a cameraman. Officer Riker, she announced loudly. Is it true that you assaulted this minor? And now, he's your son. Are you trying to cover up police brutality with a sympathy story? Daniel shielded Micah immediately. Get out. Not here. Not in front of him. The reporter pushed closer. The public deserves answers. Daniel snapped. I said, get out. A nurse rushed in. Ma'am, you can't be in here. This is I see you. But the damage was done. People in the hallway whispered. That's the cop from the video. He slammed his own son. Is this some twisted cover-up? Micah clung tighter to Daniel, sobbing harder. They're talking about me. Daniel stood and pulled Micah behind him. Don't you touch him? Don't you film him? The reporter smirked. Too late. It's already live. Daniel's blood ran ice cold. They were streaming this Micah, crying beside his dead mother, to the entire city. Security finally forced the reporters out. A nurse closed the door gently. Micah was shaking. Why won't they leave us alone? Daniel exhaled shakily, because the world loves a scandal. Micah looked up at him, terrified. What are we gonna do? Daniel put a hand on Micah's shoulder. First, we say goodbye to your mom, the right way. Micah nodded weakly. They stood together beside Grace's body. Micah whispered, Mom, I'm gonna try to forgive him. I know you would want that. Daniel's tears spilled. Grace, I'll take care of him. I promise. I won't fail him like I failed you. He squeezed Micah's hand. The door opened again. Only this time it wasn't reporters. It was internal affairs. Officer Riker, the agent said coldly. You are to come with us immediately for questioning. Micah panicked. No, don't take him. Not now, please. The agent stepped forward. Son, stand aside. Daniel knelt eye level with Micah. It's okay. I'll be back. Micah grabbed his shirt. You can't leave me. Not today. Not today. Daniel held his face gently. Listen to me. I'm not abandoning you. I'm not disappearing. I will come back. You hear me? Micah sobbed. Promise. Daniel kissed his forehead like a father who had waited 16 years to do it. I promise. Then he stood, put his hands behind his back, and let the agents take him down the hallway, past the cameras, through the crowd, and Micah watched, heartbroken, as the only parent he had left was taken away in handcuffs. The door to internal affairs slammed shut behind Daniel, echoing down the cold hallway. 2 agents sat across from him, stone-faced, no sympathy in their eyes. Officer Riker, the lead agent said, You're being investigated for excessive force, assault of a minor, racial profiling, and obstruction. Daniel didn't flinch. Where's the boy now? He asked. That's not your concern right now, the agent snapped. Your career, however, is hanging by a thread. Daniel leaned forward. Micah is my son. The agent raised an eyebrow. Convenient timing. It's not convenient, Daniel growled. It's the truth. Another agent slid a laptop toward him. A video paused on the screen, Daniel slamming Micah against the hood. Explain, the agent demanded. Daniel stared at the screen. At the moment he hurt his own son, his jaw tightened. I reacted without the facts. I profiled him. I failed him. So you admit guilt? Daniel looked up, eyes wet. Yes. Silence. Even the agents weren't expecting that. Officer Riker, one muttered. You realize admitting guilt means suspension without pay. Possibly charges, maybe termination. Daniel shrugged. He almost lost his mother alone because of me. Losing my badge is nothing compared to that. The agents exchanged looks, not kindness, but surprise. Before they could respond, someone burst into the room. Captain Morris. Riker, he said. Breathless. We have a situation. What happened? Daniel asked. Maurice hesitated. Micah is missing. Daniel shot to his feet. What? Maurice held up his hands. He ran out of the hospital. Nurses saw reporters crowding the hallways again. Someone shouted at him. You're the cops kid, aren't you? He panicked. Daniel felt his chest collapse. He's just lost his mother, Maurice said. He's scared, and the city's already tearing this story apart. What do you mean tearing it apart? Daniel demanded. Maurice pulled out his phone. Headlines filled the screen. Racist cop attacks his own secret son. Police brutality cover-up. Public demands answers. Teen orphaned after officer's violent arrest. Daniel's throat went dry. He's being hunted by cameras. Daniel, Morris said. He's out there alone. Daniel turned to the IA agents. Let me go find him. The agent shook his head. Absolutely not. You're suspended. Daniel slammed his hands on the table so hard the laptop shook. He is my son. Silence. Even Maurice flinched. The IA agent sighed. We can't let you search for him as a police officer. Daniel nodded once. Then I'll search for him as a father. He walked out, ignoring the shouts behind him. Meanwhile, Micah ran through the streets, tears blurring everything, heart pounding like wild thunder. He didn't know where to go. Every direction had strangers staring, recorders clicking, people whispering. That's him. That's the boy from the video. That cop is his dad. Is the story even real? Micah pulled his hood over his head and ran faster. He reached the bus stop near an old park, collapsing on a bench. He hugged his knees to his chest, trying to breathe. Mom, he whispered, why'd you leave me on a day like this? He wiped his eyes with shaking hands. Why him? Why is he my dad? Why couldn't you tell me sooner? A soft voice broke the silence. Are you all right, honey? An elderly woman sat beside him, gentle eyes, warm hands. Micah shook his head. No, I lost my mom today. Her face softened with heartbreak. Oh, baby. And now the news. The people. They all hate me. And him. Micah's voice cracked. My father? The woman placed a hand on his back. No matter what the world says, losing a parent is the worst pain a child can face. Micah looked at her, eyes red. But he hurt me. The first time he ever touched me, he slammed me. She sighed deeply. Not all fathers start right. Some start broken. Some learn too late. But if he's trying now, maybe give him a chance. Micah's chin trembled. I don't know how. She smiled faintly. Start with this. Don't run from the people who want to love you. Micah froze. The woman stood. Take care of yourself, child. She walked away. Micah sat there, stunned, until a shadow fell over him. He looked up. Daniel stood a few feet away, breathing hard, sweat running down his forehead. Micah, he whispered. Micah tensed. How did you find me? Daniel took a small step forward. Because I know what it looks like when someone runs from pain. I spent my whole life doing it. Micah's lips trembled. Stay away. Daniel swallowed hard. I will, if that's what you want. But I couldn't leave you alone out here. Not today. Micah didn't speak. Daniel sat several feet away on the bench, not touching him, not forcing, not pushing. I'm not here as a cop, Daniel whispered. I'm here as a man who failed you, and still wants to be your father. Micah pressed his eyes shut. Daniel looked at the sky. Your mom. She changed me once, and she's changing me again. Micah finally looked at him. Why should I believe you? Daniel turned to face him fully. Because I'm not running anymore. Micah stared at him, torn, hurting, lost. Before he could respond, a car screeched to a stop. Doors flung open. Reporters jumped out. There he is. That's the boy. Micah, look here. Flashes exploded. Micah flinched. Daniel stood up instantly, stepping between them. Back off, he roared. He's a child. But the cameras kept coming. Micah squeezed his eyes shut as microphones touched his face. One reporter shouted, Did Officer Riker tell you to lie? Did he hurt you before? Micah panicked. Stop. Please stop. Daniel snapped. He shoved the reporter back. Hard. The reporter fell. Cameras caught everything. The mob gasped, and then freeze. Several officers arrived, guns drawn. Officer Riker, step away from the reporters. Micah screamed, N.O. Stop. He's my dad. Stop. But no one listened. The officers surrounded Daniel. Guns ready. Voices shouting. Chaos exploding. And Micah stood there, shaking, knowing, if he didn't speak now, he would lose his father a second time. The street exploded in chaos. Police cars, screaming reporters, camera flashes, people shouting. And in the center of it, Daniel Riker stood with his hands raised, surrounded by officers pointing guns at him. Micah's lungs squeezed tight. Stop, please. But the officers didn't hear anything except the noise of the crowd. Officer Riker, an officer barked, You just assaulted a reporter. Step back now. Daniel glared at the man on the ground. He shoved a microphone in my son's face. He scared him. Enough. Another officer yelled. On your knees. The word son echoed like thunder. Micah stepped forward, voice breaking. Don't hurt him. He didn't do anything wrong. Reporters swarmed around him. Micah, did he force you to say that? Did he hurt your mother? Are you afraid of him? Did he abuse you? Stop. Micah screamed, hands over his ears. Stop asking me lies. Daniel tried to push toward him, but an officer grabbed him. Micah gasped. Let him go. Kid, the officer said, you need to stand back. Micah's whole body trembled. You don't understand, he's all I have left. The crowd went quiet. Just for a moment. Daniel whispered, Micah, Don't come closer. I don't want you getting hurt. Micah shook his head. No, I'm not leaving you. A reporter shouted from behind. He's manipulating the boy. Daniel roared. Shut up. The officers tightened their grip. Last warning, Riker. Micah squeezed his eyes shut. His breath caught. Grief and fear collided in his chest like a storm. Then Micah stepped in front of Daniel, directly in front of the drawn guns. The crowd gasped. Micah, no. Daniel yelled. Micah spread his arms wide, shielding Daniel with his small, trembling body. Tears streaming. Tears streaming. Voice cracking. Don't hurt him. His scream shattered everything. He's not a monster, Micah cried. He's not a racist. He's not what you think. Officers hesitated. Reporters froze. Micah pointed at his chest with shaking hands. He's my father. My real father. A ripple of shock tore through the entire street. Micah's voice trembled violently. Yes, he hurt me. He slammed me. He made a mistake. But you all won't let him apologize. Silence. He saved me today, Micah continued, sobbing. He took me to the hospital. He tried to help my mom. He didn't know she was dying. He didn't know she was his past. Daniel whispered. Micah? Micah kept going. Our whole life. It was just me and Mom. And she still believed in forgiveness. She said God gives second chances. And I know. She would give him one too. He turned to the officers. So please, don't take him away from me today. Daniel's eyes filled. He had never cried in public. Not once. Not in 25 years as a cop. But right now, he was broken. Micah, he whispered, shaking. Come here. Micah fell into Daniel's arms, sobbing uncontrollably. Daniel wrapped both arms around him, holding him like he'd waited 16 years to do it. Reporters lowered their cameras. Even officers looked away. Some turned their heads because the moment was too human, too painful. Captain Morris arrived, pushing through the crowd. Stand down. Everyone stand down. The officers slowly lowered their weapons. Morris put a hand on Daniel's shoulder. Riker, come with me. We're going to fix this. Daniel looked at Micah. I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. Micah nodded, wiping tears. But the battle wasn't over. Not even close. Later that evening, Police Hidekuya RTR's Daniel sat in a conference room. Exhausted, bruised, emotionally destroyed. Micah sat beside him, refusing to leave. Maurice paced. Videos are everywhere. Some hate you. Some feel for you. The city is split in half. Daniel exhaled deeply. I don't care about the city. I care about him. Micah leaned into him. Morris looked at Micah. Son, you want to say something on record? It might help. Micah nodded quietly. A camera turned on. Micah looked directly into it. His eyes were red. His voice cracked. But he spoke with courage that surprised even Daniel. My mom taught me to forgive. She taught me to look into someone's heart, not at their mistakes. He looked at Daniel. He's my father. I didn't know. He didn't know. But today, we found each other. A tear slid down, and I'm not losing him too. The room fell silent. Even Morris blinked away tears. He cleared his throat. Thank you, Micah. That will help a lot. He turned to Daniel Riker. The city wants a public statement from you, too. Daniel looked down at his hands, then at Micah. No, he said softly. Morris stared at him. No. Daniel squeezed Micah's shoulder. I'm not proving anything to the city. I only need to prove myself to him. Micah's eyes softened. For the first time since the hospital, he smiled. Morris nodded slowly. All right, go home, both of you. I'll handle the rest. Daniel stood, placed a hand on Micah's back, and walked him toward the exit. But outside the station, a small crowd of people waited, not with cameras, not with hate, with candles, signs that said, "Justice and forgiveness. Stand with Micah. Second chances matter." Micah stared in shock. "They're supporting us." Daniel crouched next to him. "People are complicated," he said, "but some are willing to see the truth." Micah leaned on him. Can we go home now?" Daniel smiled gently. "Home sounds perfect." They walked through the candlelit crowd together, for the first time. Side by side, father and son. The car ride home was quiet. Not the heavy, painful silence of strangers, but the soft, careful silence of two people who were learning each other for the first time. Micah stared out the window, holding his mother's Bible against his chest. Daniel kept glancing at him, afraid the boy might vanish if he looked away too long. When they reached Micah's small apartment, Daniel paused outside the door. "Micah," he said softly, "if being here is too painful, we don't have to stay." Micah opened the door slowly. "No, this is home. Mom made it home." They walked inside. Everything smelled like her. Warm, soft, familiar. A sweater she used to wear hung on the chair. A half-written grocery list sat on the counter. Her shoes were still by the door. Micah picked up one of them and held it to his chest, tears forming again. "I don't want to forget her." Daniel crouched beside him. "You won't, I promise." Micah looked up. "Will you tell me about her? From before? Before me?" Daniel nodded, eyes soft. "Every memory I have." They sat on the couch, and Daniel began. "She used to sing in the morning," he said, smiling. "Every morning, even when she was upset." Micah smiled through tears. "She did that with me too," Daniel continued. "She loved chocolate milkshakes, and she hated thunderstorms, but pretended she didn't." Micah laughed weakly. "She told me the same thing." They talked for hours. Two broken hearts, stitching themselves together with memories. Finally, Michael asked the question Daniel feared most. "Do you really want to be my dad? Or do you feel sorry for me?" Daniel's voice cracked instantly. "Micah, look at me." Micah looked up. "I don't want to be your father because I feel sorry for you," Daniel said, voice trembling. "I want to be your father because you're mine. Because I lost 16 years of your life, and I don't want to lose one more day." Micah stared at him, hurt, hope, confusion, love, everything swirling at once. "Are you sure?" he whispered. Daniel cupped Micah's cheek gently. "I've never been more sure in my life." Micah leaned into his hand. "Okay," he whispered. "Okay, Dad?" Daniel's eyes filled instantly. He pulled Micah close, holding him tight, as if the whole world might try to steal him away again. "I'm right here," Daniel whispered, "and I'm staying." The next morning, a new RE news channels exploded again, this time with a different tone. Teen speaks out. "He's my father." Public shifts after emotional plea. Officer Riker, from accused to accountable. Can a city learn to forgive? Some people still hated him, but many more began to understand. A story of injustice had turned into a story of truth. A story of anger had turned into a story of healing. A story of brokenness had turned into a story of family. Week later, Daniel stood before the disciplinary board. The room was filled with officers, reporters, and city officials. "Officer Riker," the chairman said, "you've admitted to misconduct. However, you've also shown honesty, responsibility, and deep personal accountability." Daniel straightened. "You will face consequences," they continued. "Suspension without pay, racial sensitivity and trauma training, community work in affected neighborhoods." Daniel nodded. "I accept." "But," the chairman added, "you will not be terminated." Gasps filled the room. Daniel blinked, stunned. Micah jumped from his chair and hugged him. "I told you," Micah whispered. "God gives second chances." Daniel held him tight. "And I'm using mine." The GRAV 2 weeks later. Daniel and Micah stood at Grace's grave. A fresh stone marked her name, Micah placed flowers beside it. Daniel placed his hand on the cold stone and whispered, "I wish I found you sooner. I wish I knew the truth. But thank you for giving me the greatest gift of my life." Micah took his father's hand. "Mom, I'm not alone anymore," he said softly. "You don't have to worry." Daniel smiled gently. "We'll make you proud. Every day." They stood there quietly. Two souls connected by the woman who shaped both of their lives. Epilogue: the moral VICT or Y months passed. Daniel returned to duty, a changed man. Micah started therapy, school support, and healing slowly. Daniel attended every meeting, every appointment, every cry, every breakthrough. They had dinners together. They prayed together. They rebuilt a life together. One night, Daniel took out the old brown Bible, the same one that fell on the road, the same one with the handwriting he knew by heart. He opened to the verse Grace had underlined, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." He looked at Micah, sleeping on the couch. Peaceful, for the first time in weeks, he whispered, "Thank you, Grace, for teaching him something I never learned in all my years." Micah stirred and opened his eyes. "Dad." Daniel smiled. "Yeah, buddy." Micah sat up slowly. "Are we gonna be okay?" Daniel placed an arm around him. "We're gonna be better than okay," he said, and for the first time in a long, long time both of them believed it. Moral: real change begins when truth is faced, forgiveness is given, and love is chosen. Even the darkest mistakes can be healed when someone decides to stop running and start becoming better.